For round 1 of the ears for Doug the dog, we are going to start with our taupe yarn. You will be making 1 ear out of taupe and 1 ear out of ivory. So we start with our slip knot and we chain 5 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to make an increase. So it's 2 single crochets in one spot. The next 2 chains will get a single crochet each. So that's single crochet number 1 and single crochet number 2. In the final chain, we're going to make a 3 single crochet increase, meaning we will be making 3 single crochets in the same spot. It was number 2, this is number 3, and then we're going to make 3 single crochets in the next 3 chains. So that is 1, 2, and 3, and that brings us to the end of round 1 of the ear. For round 2, we're going to start by making 2 increases. So stitch 1 will get an increase. That first stitch is always a little bit harder to get into. Just keep wiggling your hook and you will get in. It's always just a little bit tighter than the rest. Sorry, my yarn split here. I just need to go and repeat this stitch. Okay, that's our first increase. Second stitch also gets an increase. Then we're going to make 2 single crochets. It's 1 and 2. The next 3 stitches will each get an increase. That's increase number 1. And this is increase number 2. And that's increase number 3. We're then going to make 2 single crochets again. And in our final stitch, another increase. Which brings us to the end of round 2. For round 3, we're going to start with a single crochet, followed by an increase in the second stitch. We're going to repeat that. So we're going to make another single crochet and another increase. The next 2 stitches will get a single crochet each. We're then going to do a single crochet followed by an increase and repeat it 3 times. So that's single crochet 1 followed by increase 1, single crochet 2 followed by increase 2, single crochet 3 followed by increase 3. We're then going to make 3 single crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and in the last stitch of the round we will be making an increase. That brings us to the end of round 3. For round 4, we're going to make 2 single crochets followed by an increase, and we're going to repeat that twice. So it's single crochet 1, single crochet 2, followed by an increase, single crochet 3, single crochet 4, followed by an increase. We're then going to make 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. We're then going to repeat our pattern of 2 single crochets followed by an increase 3 times. So that's 1 and 2 followed by increase number 1. 1 and 2 followed by increase number 2. 1 and 2 followed by increase number 3. We're then going to make 4 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4, followed by an increase in our final stitch. That brings us to the end of round 4. For round 5, we're going to make 28 single crochets, that is 1 in each stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and stitch 28, which brings us to the end of round 5. Now for round 6, round 7 and round 8 we are going to repeat this pattern of 28 single crochets. So you're going to do exactly the same for 6, 7 and 8 that we did for round 5. So we're going to show you that section of the pattern in fast forward. For round 9 we're going to start with a mini pattern of 2 single crochets followed by 2 decreases, and we're going to repeat that twice. So that's single crochet 1, single crochet 2, followed by a decrease, single crochet 1, single crochet 2, followed by a second decrease. The next 2 stitches get a single crochet each. So that's single crochet 1, single crochet 2. We're then going to repeat the 2 single crochets followed by a decrease pattern 3 times. So it's single 1, single 2, decrease 1, single 1, single 2, decrease 2, single 1, single 2, decrease 3. We're then going to make 4 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and over our last 2 stitches we are going to make a decrease. That brings us to the end of round 9. For round 10 we're going to make 22 single crochets, that is 1 in each stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
I'm sorry, I can't call emergency services here. Please use your phone.
20. My apologies, my computer decided to interrupt us there. 21 and 22. That brings us to the end of round 10. For round 11 we're going to start with a single crochet followed by a decrease in stitch 2 and 3. We're going to repeat that one more time. Single crochet followed by a decrease. The next 2 stitches will get a single crochet each. That's 1 and 2. We're then going to repeat our pattern of a single crochet followed by a decrease 3 times. So single 1, decrease 1, single 2, decrease 2, single 3, decrease 3. In the next 3 stitches we'll be making single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, and across the last 2 stitches we'll be making a decrease, bringing us to the end of round 11. For round 12 we're going to make 16 single crochets, that is 1 in each stitch of the round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got a bit of a knot happening here since we're getting to the end of our yarn. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, which brings us to the end of round 12. For round 13, we're going to start with a single crochet, followed by 2 decreases, So that's decrease number 1, decrease number 2. Then we're going to make 4 single crochets. Two, 3, and 4. We're going to follow that with 2 decreases. That's decrease number 1 and decrease number 2. Followed by 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now at this point we're going to add 2 shift stitches. 2 shift stitches is simply to move the position of the stitch marker, so it doesn't change the count on the row. We're just going to make 2 more single crochets, and at the end of the second one, that will be the end of the round. So it's 1 and 2. The reason we're doing this, you can see when we fold our ear flat, just do it nicely like that. Over here, we were in the middle of the ear, but by adding 2 shift stitches, we have shifted to the edge of the ear, which is going to make it easier for us on the next round when we are going to crochet the opening closed. For round 14, we are going to crochet this opening closed with single crochets across, 6 of them. How we do that is we start by inserting our hook in the first stitch and the last stitch from the previous round together. We then make a single crochet through both of those stitches. That's our single crochet number 1. We then go through the next 2 stitches, making sure that our hook goes through both sides, and make our second single crochet. Do it again for a third one, through both sides again for the 4th single crochet, again for number 5, and the final one, number 6. We then chain 1. We're going to cut a length of yarn because we need to use this tail to sew the ear onto the body. Pull it through and pull it tight, and that completes the ear for Doug the dog. As you can see, it's a nice round little ear. Now you're going to need 2 of these. One of your ears needs to be in taupe like we've just done, and the second ear needs to be in ivory. So you're going to repeat the video up to this point to create a second ear so that you've got 2 identical ears but in different colors. Once you've done that, you can come back to this point so that we can show you how to pin them into place. Next, we're going to be pinning the ears to the head. How we're going to do is we're going to start by turning our head with our nose facing us and the top of the head looking up. You're going to attach the taupe ear on the side that's got the white spot. So you want the taupe ear and the white spot to go together on one side. Now, looking from the top, we want to find our spot from our start, about 1-2 rounds. And we're going to put in pin number 1 and pin number 2, so that ear is pinned into place over there. We are then going to take our ivory ear and pin it on the other side. And again, we're going to count down 1, 2, so that we've got about the same distance from our center start. And insert our pins. So this is the basic effect that you want to achieve. We just want to make sure that we've got it even. So if we check at the moment, you can see this ivory ear is really close to the muzzle on this side, where the taupe ear is an entire thumb away from the muzzle. That means we've pinned this ear too close to the front. So we need to actually move this ear back a little bit. We stay on the line of the row we've picked and we just move a bit backwards and insert our pins again. Don't be afraid to pin something more than once. You want to get it into the right position before you sew. Now if we're looking from the front here, you can see we've got a thumb space between the muzzle and the ear, and on the other side we've also got a thumb space between the muzzle and the ear, so they are now even from the front. It's harder to tell visually because of the white spot, so it's better to actually measure it with your fingers. If you look from the top, you can see that it's looking nice and even with the muzzle and the nose centralized. If you look from the front, they're also centralized. Your height is the same for the bottoms of the ears. You can look from the back. See, that looks kind of cute as well. You can even check from the bottom to make sure that you've got a centralized muzzle. Once you are happy with the positioning of the ears, you can actually sew them into place with invisible stitches. So in order to do that, you take your tapestry needle, put your yarn tail on, and remember, the important thing with invisible stitches is whenever you go through the head, you want to make sure you work under the ear, not next to the ear. Just go through like that and take our first needle out because it's in our way. Go through the ear and through the stitches of the head. Go through the ear and the stitches of the head. You'll see each time I'm making sure that I stay under the ear. I don't work next to it, and as I pull tight, my stitches actually disappear because I'm working under the ear instead of next to the ear. The smaller your stitches are, and the more closely together you make them, the neater this will appear. Okay. And again through both. To make the last stitch, I'm just going to take the pin out of the way. Now, as you know, I like my things to stay in place and never ever come loose. So I'm just going to go back down again to make sure that my ear is quite thoroughly attached to my head. Kids just always seem to drag their toys around by the ears or the arms, so those tend to be the first bits to come off if you don't sew them on very tightly. You see, I'm not making as many stitches on the second pass. Okay. Once you're happy with your ear, you can just let the needle come out at a random spot at the back of the head. And leave your end hanging down there. I just cut it shorter for convenience. We're then going to sew the second ear on in exactly the same way. When we are done, we're going to let the end come out at the same spot. We're going to knot them together and hide the not inside the head. But we'll show you that part on fast forward. Okay, at this point the ears are fully attached, and this is what Doug the dog should look like. If you're using a soft yarn, your ears will stay in place like that. If you're using a stiffer yarn like I am, you'll notice when you let go they stick out a little bit. I think that just adds to the cuteness of the little doggy. So this is where we need to be. We will see you soon to create the arms for Doug the dog.